Subjected to the laws of murderers, we rot in a dirty cell cause we can't pay the price of bail. The new improved form of slavery is called jail, and for the righteous, society is called hell. And in the big scheme of things, it's all gonna fail.
Provoke us with violence, the recipe makes us all react aggressively. Playing into your game, it's stressing me, controlling all of our lives, depressing me. I don't wanna go to war, but you're pressing me. Treat us like animals, the stress could be all that I could bear. Causing despair. Can you explain it? Why you testing me?
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters.
Good afternoon.
Tyrone. Assalamu alaikum. As you know, we're here today, unfortunately, because of our brother Elijah Muhammad, his family. We're here with the family and the community and our religious and also political leaders. And we want to begin right away. First thing I'm going to do is bring on the family's attorney, Mr. Sanford Rubenstein.
Thank you, Brother Tariq. We are here today for justice for the wrongful death of Elijah Muhammad. What does that mean? This is what it means. One, that Rikers not only be closed, but that the federal government come in and take control of Rikers, because the culture at Rikers cannot be transferred to the 4 new prisons that are being built in each of the boroughs. Two, every correction officer who played a part in this wrongful death must be held accountable criminally for their actions. We've seen already one case in which 2 correction officers were arrested for seeing a prisoner die and not doing anything about it. We want any correction officer who played a part in this wrongful death to be held accountable criminally. And 3, we want compensation for his 4 young children for this wrongful death in the only form the law allows, money damages. This family has suffered, and what this family hopes is that as a result of this death being publicized, as well as the 12 other deaths at Rikers this year, this will not happen to any other family.
Yes.
Thank you very much. At this time, we have several people who are going to speak. At this time, we'd like to hear from our Senator Cordell Clare, who's here. She's from a community, and she's been a blessing for this community. Want to hear from our Senator Cordell Clare.
With great sadness, I stand here today with my family and neighbors and friends to talk about yet another wrongful death at Rikers Island. These are human beings. They were not sent there to die. They were sent there being detained so that they would have an opportunity to go to court. Elijah never got his day. What he got was far worse than anyone deserves. We have to make serious and deliberate and purposeful changes at Rikers Island. We have to do it now. We can't wait for another person to die. He leaves behind children who will never see him again. Family who are mourning his death, who were notified so abruptly that Elijah was gone, as they came to support him and help him. Rikers Island knew about his mental health status, yet they didn't act accordingly. They assigned him to population, and they did not supervise and attend to Elijah, and the result of that is that he lost his life. They have to be held accountable, and the deaths have to stop.
Thank you very much, Senator. I was supposed to make a few comments, but I'm just going to ask 4 questions. 1, who assigned Elijah in the process? Who brought him in? 2, how did he get assigned to population? They were aware that he was documented in 2016 that he was bipolar as well as schizophrenic. Why was he in population? Why wasn't he where he could get care? Number 4, how did he get the drugs? Where did the drugs come from? He's in jail. How did he get drugs in jail? And number 2, my last point, how many people have to die before something happens? How many families have to suffer before something happens?
Come on.
This has gone too far. I'd like to bring on now Pastor Blue, Dedrick Blue?
Last night I was sitting at home when I was watching television. Something came on the television that sort of struck me. They were talking about eating healthy, and then a box came out. And the box came out with fresh food. And in the fresh food, there was a dog, and the man gave the dog the fresh food. And I thought to myself, we live in a city where we have people who can't afford to have food, but dogs get fresh food. And then I started thinking about the situation in Rikers Island. And it appears to me that sometimes in this city, dogs get treated better than people. As a matter of fact, last night, I set up on my computer, attorney, and I began to pull up some laws here from the state of New York regarding pet care in New York State. If you have a pound or if you are a pet care provider, it says here that the primary cages for housing animals shall provide sufficient space to allow each animal adequate freedom of movement to make normal postural adjustments, including the ability to stand up, turn around, lie down with its limbs outstretched. That is what we provide for dogs, but we did not provide that for Elijah.
Come on.
The code says that a dog gets to see a doctor, but that was not provided Elijah. The code says that the place must be ventilated with air conditioning and heat, but that was not provided Elijah. We now are living in an era right now where we are 160 years past the Emancipation Proclamation, where black men were considered to be 3/5 of a man. Now here we are in 2022, and on Rikers Island, men are considered to be less than dogs. Less than dogs. We cannot tolerate this anymore.
Right.
As a matter of fact, as I was sitting there, I was thinking about the Uvalde 21. I thought about the Buffalo 10. And then I started to name this the Rikers 11. But then I said I can't do that because 2022 isn't over yet, and there's going to be more deaths in Rikers Island unless we stop it. Isn't that right?
Right.
Listen, when Uvalde happened, the president showed up. The vice president was there in Buffalo. The politicians were standing with the people and weeping. Why? Because innocent people had lost their lives. Innocent citizens had lost their lives. We had innocent citizens to die in Rikers Island, and where are the tears for them? Where are the politicians here? Why isn't the president here? Mr. Mayor, where are you? Where are you, Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor was elected to the city because he told us that he stood with the people in the neighborhoods and he was a bridge between the people in the neighborhoods and the police. Isn't that right? Now, Mr. Mayor, people are dying in police custody under your watch. And Mr. Mayor, we want to know why and what your answer is to this. It appears to me that we are in a situation right now where there are only two alternatives. Number one is to fix Rikers, and number two is to close it down.
Right.
And because, Mr. Mayor, you and your administration and previous administrations have demonstrated the inability to fix Rikers, there's only one thing left to do, and that is to close it down.
Right.
Because if we don't close it down, then the blood of innocent citizens rests upon your hands.
Thank you very much, Pastor Blue. I'm looking for Aisha Sekou. Is she here? Aisha Sekou here?
Aisha Sekou?
Okay, in that case, we'll hear from Assemblyman Al Taylor.
Thank you. Peace and blessings. As I stand here this afternoon, we're here to shoulder our support with this family and your grief. Also, as a clergy, I stand here saying enough is enough.
Yes.
So when we think about this, if we measure this out, it looks like to have mental illness in our community is a death sentence.
That's right.
That's unconscionable. There's nothing in the regulation that says if you have a mental illness, you are punished by death. The very fact that this has happened says that, to Pastor's point, that someone is not paying attention. I would call on the mayor and all of those that are there that are responsible for an in-depth investigation into exactly what happened, and then hold to the highest level those that are accountable, because we too want to be accountable, but they must also be held accountable for their actions or inactions.
That's right.
It's not fair, and enough is enough. And I would like to say, let this be the last one, but we really don't know. We have no control over that. But I would say to all of us that are here, it's great to come here. It's great to support this family, but the movement and what we need is greater than this. Our voices have been quiet too long.
Yes.
Since the likes of Malcolm, our voices have quieted down. Since the likes of Martin, our voices have dropped. We've not arrived. 160 years since we've been set free, they're a problem. And I don't care if you have $2 over a nickel, you've not arrived if your brothers and sisters are dying in Rikers. You have a responsibility to roll up your sleeves and get engaged, and don't tell me it won't matter, because when it's your turn and your friend and your family, and I say to you it don't matter, how will you feel? Now I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but there's some folks that need to get up and get into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman Al Taylor. At this time, we'd like to hear from family member, Sister Tanisha. This is her first cousin. They were very close. Tanisha, come.
I just wanted to say, DOC failed. You failed, DOC. You failed on several levels, on several different occasions. You failed Elijah Muhammad, my cousin. How is it that in a 24-hour secure facility, okay, it was complete disregard for his mental illness as well as medical care? How is that possible? How is that possible? How is it possible, okay? He has 4 young children that we constantly have to tell them that he's not going to be here for them. How do you explain that to them? What do you do? Mr. Mayor, you need to be held accountable. There needs to be a cleanup in Rikers from the bottom to the top, inside out, okay? You quick to snatch them, but you're not quick to help them. How is that possible? We are seeking compensation for Elijah's 4 children. We are seeking change, and we are seeking justice for Elijah. What does that change look like? Collectively, we have all got to come together and change this. No other family member should suffer the way we are suffering. One is too many, okay? Until the change come, how many more is this gonna happen to? Because we're gonna be watching, and we're speaking up, and we are speaking out. We don't want this to happen to no more anymore.
That's the family member. And this time, I'd just like to hear from Aisha Sekou, the CEO of Street Corner Resources. She's just coming. We want to hear from Aisha. In the meantime, we want to let people know that Mr. Assemblyman Eddie Gibbs is here with us. He's here with us. Our Assemblyman is here. We want to acknowledge those people who come and stand with us during this troubled time.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
So today, somebody say today, we stand together, to stand in solidarity, to call for justice, to call for justice. Give it to me so everybody can hear you. To call for justice, for Elijah, Muhammad, our young, are representing strongly all those who were killed on Rikers Island and other prisons across this city and state. Right, we won't give up on our young and watch them die. We won't give up. We won't give up. Right, so we need to say that our presence here is not for an event. I decided a long time ago that we're not just doing events. Events are Band-Aids. Events are Band-Aids. Events are Band-Aids. It's the easy way to say, I did something, and now I'm going home and watch it on the 6 o'clock news. We ain't having it. We have to stand until the thing changes. This is about change. Somebody say change. This is about change. So we spent our whole day getting ready for this.
Right.
Why? Because the young people need to know that there's the possibility if they go on that island that they will lose life. That's a great possibility. See, we just hearing about those who lost life in the prison. But there are state prisons and other prisons where young people, older people are losing life, buried under the gym, buried in the back, thrown in the lake, forgotten about, left in the cell to rot in the area of the prison where nobody comes, so nobody knows. The family calls and say, where's my son? Oh, we can't find him. We think this happened. So we have to stop what happened to Elijah. Unfair, uncalled for, left in the shower for 31 hours?
Right.
30, somebody say it.
And
Yeah.
didn't get in a fight.
And didn't get in a fight.
Right.
But this is a way of hiding the atrocity. The atrocity, the bad thing, the ugly thing, the thing we don't want to talk about, they are hiding. And we should be ashamed if we don't use our voice, our presence, our stand in this city to make that thing turn. You understand? This ain't about who we like. It ain't about whether or not it's a new mayor or old mayor. We got work to do. Somebody say we got work to do. We got work to do. Right, so let's get about business of doing the work. I'm Aisha Sekou, CEO and founder of Street Corner Resource.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's it. Good. All right. Any questions?
Would you go give her first and last name?
Trinisha. T
No, he's talking about her.
A
No.
R N I S H A. Last name Smith SMITH.
No. Yeah, they're the aunts. That's right. As you know, his mother died, so the caretakers were his aunts. So these are his aunts. There's two of them. There are several others. There's three of them. I'm sorry, I didn't see you, Lisa. I didn't see Lisa. Anyway, there's three of them, and there are others who are not here as well.
He was very close to his family, very close.
Since you last had the press conference at the Rubenstein office
Yeah.
a few weeks ago, have you been able to get any more information about what happened since then?
The only information we got was from the coroner, who confirmed. The only information we got since the last press conference was the coroner confirmed he died of an overdose of fentanyl. So the question has to be raised, how is fentanyl getting into the prison?
Right.
How?
Who gave it to him? And more so, he took enough fentanyl to overdose. Where was anybody to correct that overdose? Where was the Narcan? Where were the guards? Where were they? That's a lot for somebody to overdose in prison like that. Somebody gave it to him and somebody allowed him to die from the overdose.
Any other questions?
I guess, talk a little bit about, Street Corner that's here today and the kids and why it's important for them to know what's going on.
So, one, I stand here not just as the CEO, but as an activist, long time, right? And so our young people, we cannot bring them to a summer youth program that does not educate them about the atrocities in their community and their rights as a citizen and how they can use their voice. So Street Corner Resources is one of the premier anti-violence sites in New York City. And what we do is not just raise up our young people in terms of work and education, but we raise them up in terms of what's happening in the country and in their community. And we ask them to activate.
Thank you. Okay. Any others?
I guess just the last thing would be about the lawsuit, where you are in terms of that.
What's important to this family, more important than the lawsuit, which has been filed, is that this not happen to anybody else. What's important to this family is to have those responsible for his wrongful death prosecuted, as well as making sure that there's the change we need. The federal government needs to come in and take over the administration of Rikers. Rikers is closing. Close Rikers, it takes 4 years to build the new prisons. During that 4 years, you need to change the culture that exists at Rikers. That can only be changed with a change in the administration. The federal government must come in to take over the administration of Rikers.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So
in place to do a proper investigation about how the fentanyl and other drugs are being infiltrated within the system?
I'm going to let the attorney answer that question. She wants to know what process
What
is
process
on.
is being done?
There's a federal court case right now brought initially by Legal Aid, to which the United States Attorney's Office is a party, requesting a federal judge to order Rikers be taken over by the federal government. That lawsuit is on again in November. We're hoping it's going to get speeded up so that we can get a federal judge to order Rikers be taken over by the federal government.
But she's talking about the investigation into Elijah's death.
The Attorney General has jurisdiction with regard to the criminal investigation, and that investigation is underway. We look forward to meeting with officials in the Attorney General's office to ascertain what they've accomplished so far with that investigation.
The last thing I just want to say, that we're all here because of our leader, Imam Ezekiel Mahmoud Pasha, who supports his family. His family's from the mosque here, and we support him, and we're here. He said we should have it right here at the mosque so that everyone will know that we're here, and those friends of ours stand with us in this situation. Imam Ezekiel Mahmoud Pasha. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank you.
everyone.
Justice! 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 For Elijah! For Elijah! For Elijah! For Elijah! For Elijah! For Elijah! Muhammad! Muhammad! Justice! Justice! Oversight! Oversight! Justice! Justice! Oversight! Oversight! For Elijah! For Elijah! Muhammad! Muhammad! So we need justice and we need oversight on Rikers Island right now. Somebody say right now. Right now. And we give love to the family. Love to the family. Love to the family. Love to the